Greetings, all you infected out there. I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm coming at you with another Sonic the Hedgehog by IDW issue review. This time it's issue 19, titled Crisis City, Part 1. Which is funny because it's actually, titled after one of the stages from Sonic 06. I'll leave it to this series to never kind of put down even something as loathed as Sonic 06, but we really start to get into the real desperate situation going on here, especially when you start to see more and more of Cream's map, and she's crossing off all these characters who are being lost. As in the previous issue, we lost Chocola Chow as well as Cheese. So the virus continues to spread, and Sonic continues to lose friends. And I loved Ian Flynn's comment about this because he noted the fact that as the cute map went on, it would get sadder and sadder as it went along the way. And that's become very, very apparent as we've gone forward. We pick up in Sunset City, I believe it was called, where you have Rouge the Bat actually going over, the city's history for the most part. How, this was a place of finer stuff, gemstones, all that stuff. It really shows that she was very interested in the finer things of this city. And then the war happened, Eggman's goons came in, tore up the town. They did their best to rebuild, but it's another havoc-stricken situation with the Zombots running amok this time around. It's like they can't catch a break. And that was the thing that always got you in the trailer leading up until Sonic Forces, those giant egg bots just roaming around, causing havoc and destruction as they went along. But Sonic is doing his best to run through the city, find as many people as he can, and help them evacuate to safety. But with all the Zombots just swarming on top of him from every which way and direction, and not to mention this is a densely populated city, he's really, playing it fast and loose, which is how he always plays it, with that metal virus just slowly creeping across his body. But he does manage to find some survivors, and he tries his best to try to clear out some of the Zombots from setting upon them and infiltrating the town, only for him to get some unexpected help from Omega. And while Sonic tries his best to dissuade Omega from really damaging the Zombots because, they're innocent people, Omega sees no difference from them and a regular Eggman robot. They're robots in a manner of speaking. They were created by Eggman, so he's following his prime directive and destroying all Eggman robots. It helps that he can't be infected by the Zombot outbreak since he's already a robot. Meanwhile, Rouge comes in and tells Sonic to help evacuate the survivors to the Grand Golden Flicky Hotel, where they're able to set up a bit of a barricade to get everyone on, to safety, as many people as they can to safety at least. And, you see Rouge coordinating the resistance fighters to help everyone out. Something that really needs to be made aware of by the fans at large is this isn't Gun. Gun does not exist in this world. Sega mandated, this is Sega speaking, that Sonic's world and the human world are two separate things. They do not exist within the same dimension, kind of like in Sonic X. And so you have Gun on that world, and at most you have the Resistance on this world with the Wispons and all that good stuff. So, the reasoning why people are, a lot of people have said, it's just well, why isn't Gun getting involved? Why aren't we seeing Gun helping out? Because Gun doesn't exist on this world. It should, but it doesn't. So Rouge is coordinating the attacks. She can't live in high society and enjoy the gems of the world if everyone's these crazed zombie robots. So she's doing her best to lead people to where they need to go. And though she does wonder how Sonic is faring during all of this, and he does make it known that as long as he runs it off from time to time, he might be able to, fight off the infection. But she does wonder why everything about this attack seems so sloppy and just all over the place. And Sonic makes it known that Eggman has lost control of the Zombot hard. He is no longer in charge. But unfortunately, the whole holdout in the Grand Flicky Hotel starts to get flanked from Zombots on various sides. And while Sonic tries his best to help people, he can't touch anyone lest he spread the infection. So he has to do as best he can to, rout these Zombots and just keep them away from the people. However, the Zombots are just really coming from every which way, and there's only so much that Omega can really do in order to hold them back. So Sonic tries to go in and do something about this massive horde coming across the bridge, only for something to come barreling down the bridge, knocking Zombots into the air. And that is Shadow in a massive truck, very reminiscent of the gun truck from Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow's debut, which was probably very intentional. And a very angry Shadow is at the wheel. Road rage, anyone? And while Sonic does his best to quip and banter with Shadow, Shadow is having none of it. And this is where we get a bit of a divide in terms of the fan base, as Shadow is pissed. He blames Sonic for everything that is going on right now because Sonic did not allow him to take in the Tinkerer. Sonic exposits that he wasn't expecting someone to come in, namely Dr. Starline, and invigorate Eggman's memories and put him back on the warpath. But Shadow is having none of this. He is being a right-out jerk, but at the same time, it makes sense. And a lot of people are just like, oh, well, Sonic had the idiot ball. Of course Shadow's, stupid and mental. No, that's honestly always been part of Sonic's nature. He always lets Eggman go. He always has, and he pretty much always will. There have been several instances where Sonic full-on could have captured Dr. Eggman, and he didn't take that opportunity or chance. There have been several instances where he's let Metal Sonic go, just like before. At the end of Sonic Heroes, it's not like he destroyed Metal Sonic or anything. He let Metal Sonic go. That's Sonic's nature. A lot of people are just like, oh, blah, blah, Ian Flint's writing. No, we've seen that time and time again. And if anything, blame Sega. They've made a lot of questionable decisions. Meanwhile, Shadow, he's confident and cocky that he can handle this whole situation himself. And with Omega at his back, basically defending the truck and the civilians, Shadow goes in saying that he doesn't have to run off the infection. Because he was made in order to fight off diseases and stuff like that. The infection, the disease that Maria had, he was made in order to cure that. So he feels that this virus he should be able to overcome as well. And he really starts going to town. Just as much as Omega, honestly. And Rouge starts to get worried because he feels that he's being too reckless, which he really is. But, Shadow's prime directive is to preserve the planet. So he's going to do everything that he damn well can in order to protect the planet. Well, which really makes you question, because this isn't even the planet that Maria wanted Shadow to protect. Like, why is Shadow on Sonic's world? It's not the world he was tasked to protect. I'm honestly just realizing that. That just makes a massive plot hole in Shadow's whole motivation. He was supposed to protect Earth, not Sonic's world. But regardless, he's going in and he's going hard, and it's honestly pretty fun to just see Shadow just knock everyone back, and he, gets some, I'm the ultimate life form, you cannot defeat me, you're resilient, but so am I, blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, Sonic is, off running off the infection as best he can, and we, just like before, we're seeing those little moments of him just thinking about all the people he's lost. Mostly those with the C in their name. Charmy, Cheese, Chocola, like, if you got a C in your name, you better watch out. Cream might be next. But he shakes it off and goes rushing back in order to save as many people as possible. Because he still tries to reaffirm that he did the right thing. That having Eggman pay when he was Mr. Tinker, for his crimes didn't make sense, because what is he paying for if he doesn't even remember anything? Although, you probably should have had him more closely monitored, that's the only thing. But Sonic goes back in to save as many people as possible. Meanwhile, while Shadow was doing a fairly good job, the infection starts to take over. Ultimately, this isn't really a health-related situation. This is a very deeply encompassing virus, and it affects all forms of organic matter, no matter how immune they might be. Plant life doesn't really get infected by human diseases or animal-based diseases, so, that should have clued you in, but, he was fully thinking that he had this under control. And, while Rouge tries to tell Shadow to run off the virus, that the whole thing's here, he says defiantly, "I don't run," which a lot of people took issue with. A lot of people, readjusting that to, him saying that he'd stay behind in order to help the people evacuate, or not just leave Rouge and Omega behind and stuff like that. Very reminiscent of that moment in Sonic 06 where they stuck together back to back, allies to the end. But it feels like this is more of a situation of you should take that context away from it, but people are so caught up in terms of just Shadow being so defiant, angry, and angsty about the whole situation that it basically led to his doom as things went along. But honestly, there wasn't much else they could do. They were overrun. Honestly, everything that Shadow was doing was the most he could do to hold these things back. I get where people are coming from, but I feel like they're being a little too harsh in this situation. But at the same time, I do believe that maybe Ian could have put more into the script to reaffirm that Shadow does care. But at the same time, Sega has been really kind of, in more recent stuff from Sonic Free Riders and stuff like that, where Shadow's personality keeps rebounding into that jerk persona. They're really pushing that forward, that, Shadow's a jerk most of the time. So it's really hard for me to say where I lie in terms of how I feel about Shadow's characterization. I don't feel like it was off. It just feels like, Shadow, more could have been done, but I feel like enough was done at the same time. It's really hard to tell. I don't feel like it's as out of proportion as people are making it, though. And as Sonic comes rushing back in order to help out, Rouge lets him know that she needs them to help handle Shadow. But Sonic misunderstands her as he rushes across, and only to be pinned by a Zombot Shadow. So now Shadow is, part of the problem for the most part. And a lot of people are horrified. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Shadow, how could they do this to your character assassination?" But, this whole storyline, as Ian has stated in the Bumblecast, is a lot of, how far can we push it? How wild can we go? If I do this, will it be accepted? If I will do that, will it be accepted? And Sega's just like, yeah, that sounds neat, go for it. So, honestly, it's interesting to see this. Shadow honestly would have probably given Sonic too much of an edge, but having him be infected as well really kind of creates that tension and makes you go, okay, now what? Where do we go from here on out? Because Shadow is very powerful and he creates a whole different set of problems with him being infected as well. So we'll have to see where things go in terms of part 2, how much more savage and out there things really get, and how much more of a problem the Zombot infected Shadow creates. And who's next? Who else will be infected? This is part 1 of a 2-parter, but it really does make me wonder. It's just like, why make this a 2-parter? Really, what's the connecting feature? Just that they're in, this city that's been overrun. Is that why? Who's next? Where do we go from here? Will Eggman get off his ass and actually do something to curb this infection? Or will somebody else have to come to the forefront and help fight it off? Good stuff. But tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. How did you feel about this chapter? Do you feel that Shadow was mischaracterized in this storyline, or do you feel that that's right up Shadow's alley to be very obstinate and just really kind of do himself in by his own arrogance? And do you feel that he should have at least gone out helping Rouge and Omega, being flanked by them, just like how we saw in Sonic 06, or do you feel that this was the best way to go and it creates a more interesting story? Let me know your thoughts and theories in the comment section below. If you liked this video, leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike and tell me what I did wrong in the comment section below so I might better myself for future videos. Subscribe and hit the bell icon, that way you never miss out on another Sonic the Hedgehog issue review. And if you want to follow me on social media, just Google Duuz-Diz-Din. I am everywhere, for better or for worse. And until the next video, just remember that no matter what your differences may be, allying together is the only way to beat the odds. And sometimes your best tactic is to run for the hills. And until next time, I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I think it's time for bed. Bye-bye.